So the risk is that America does something to cause a war. I have nothing in the Japanese stock market. I sold a week or two ago.
Can you please elaborate your thought? City of Tokyo, losing its attractiveness.
It's a simple, will be a back, England, let's go back to England. It was the richest, most powerful country in the world 100 years ago. Then it went bankrupt. I mean, the Beatles did okay, and then Margaret Thatcher discovered the North Sea. If you can discover the North Sea oil in Japan, don't worry, everything will be fine if you have the largest oil field in the world. But I don't think it's there, so unless something dramatic happens, Japan is a declining country. I don't think this is an opinion, I think these are simple facts.
Facts. So all those negative facts you shared with us about Japan, do you think government is doing enough to change its course?
Well, I don't know that they're doing anything to change their course except talking. They've let in a few more immigrants, but very few, not nearly enough to solve the problem. They've certainly not stopped running up the debt. I mean, the debt goes higher and higher every day, every hour, and the population goes down every week. I don't see that they've done anything to change the course. I know the population's declining. They know it, but they're not doing anything. I mean, I love Japan, but their talk. They won't be around in 40 years, so they don't care.
Relating to that question, you know, there's no point crying over spilled milk, but do you think this unfortunate situation Japan faces now could have been avoided if the Japanese politicians were more seriously thinking about the future of our country many, many years ago, rather than focusing on their own political parties or their re-election?
You answered your own question. You did a very good job of answering your own question. Of course they could have. I'm not the first person to know that the population's been going into decline and then decline. It's been declining since 2010. Everybody knew that, but you know, there was a time that there were no babies, and it seemed like a good idea because they'd have to have babies. So it's been going on for a long time, and the Japanese politicians have known that. I hope they knew it. I hope they were smart enough. I guess it could have been changed. Some of the European countries tried to give incentives to have babies, and it didn't work. So I don't know what you have to do to get people to have babies, but something has to be done or you disappear.
I understand that you were a hedge fund manager. Your routine was to read newspapers of 5 countries daily and 40 magazines and 80 industry magazines to come up with investment ideas. That would be a little bit difficult for the people watching this interview. So what do you suggest for the individual investors to do to formulate investment decisions and come up with their investment ideas?
Well, I loved what I was doing, and I was wildly curious about the world, so that's why I did it. That was what I wanted to do. I didn't want to do anything else. If you want to be a successful investor, everybody watching this, reading this, knows a lot about something, whether it's fashion or cars or something. Every day you wake up and you read something about fashion, or you go on the internet or something. So you're already way ahead of most people. And when you see something happening that you know is going to be successful, just do some more research, do more in-depth work. You already love it, you're already ahead of all the rest of us, and find it, and figure it out, and then make an investment. And then send me an email. I will look too. If I told you you can only have 25 investments in your life, you'd be very careful. You wouldn't be jumping in and out all the time of different things. And you would be very, very careful, and you would be extremely successful. You would own Japan someday, if you want. Or Korea, or China, you pick it.
Can you please share?
I want to tell you, this is such an important, this is a lesson that I wish everybody would learn. Everybody wants to be rich quick. Me too, I want to be rich quick too. But if you want to be successful, do not listen to hot tips, avoid hot tips, and just stay with what you know. It's that simple. It's that hard, You have to be disciplined. But everybody knows a lot about something or some things, and that's how you become successful. It's that easy. It's that hard. It's that hard.
Can you please share some of the best investment successes you had in the past? Do you care to share some of the success?
I'd rather tell you about my failures. I learn more from my failures. My best success, I have 2 daughters now. I never had children before. I thought children were a horrible waste of time and money. I felt so sorry for my friends who had children, ruined their lives. I was wrong. I was completely wrong about children. So far, my best investments are these 2 kids. I cannot tell you.
What triggers you to realize that you wanted to have kids?
I never decided I wanted to have children, but my wife and I drove around the world for 3 years. We came back, and Paige said, well, maybe we should have a child. And I said, why? It's too young to settle down. I'm only 60 years old. That's too young to settle down. But we did. And
you're very happy, very, very happy.
Well, I realized pretty quickly that this was really great. This was fun. This is wonderful. And as the child and then the children grew up, I realized, oh my gosh, this is a fantastic way to spend my time and energy and whatever, and brains. So I realized how much fun and how exciting it was. So I hope, so far, they've grown, it's been years now, they both continue to grow up. So far, it's been fantastic. You can ask me in 25 years, but so far it's been great. So the best advice to everybody is be sure to have children. Don't miss the opportunity.
Got it.
Wait if you want to, but don't miss the opportunity. And that's been my best investment so far.
You also mentioned you are a big failure in investment. Can you care to share that?
Well, yes, that's usually how you learn. I, anyway, learn more from failure than from success. When you have a success, you think, oh, I'm smart. You start thinking, this is easy. Everything is wonderful. I'm going to be rich. But if you do something wrong, you often think about it, focus on it, concentrate, try to figure out what went wrong. And I hope you learn something from that, so for the next time, you'll learn from that. I can remember once early in my career, had a great success, tripled my money when everybody else was failing. And I said, this is so easy. So I waited for the stock market to rally, which I knew it would, and I started selling short, because I knew it was going to collapse again. I shorted 6 stocks, and 2 months later, I was wiped out, lost everything. Lost everything. So devastating. In the end, within the next 2 years, all of those companies went bankrupt. I was brilliant, but I lost everything first.
So it was a timing blemish.
Yeah, well, what I learned was, first of all, timing, which I was terrible at. I didn't know I was bad at it. I learned quickly. But also I realized that in the markets, there are a lot of people who don't know what you know. I thought everybody knew what I knew. Maybe they, but whether they did or not, they bought all these stocks and they went up a great deal, and I lost everything because they didn't know as much as I knew.
So you do homework very good.
I did brilliant homework and lost everything. Yes, and still do. But in those days, there was a lot I did not know about markets that I did not know. I did not know.
This was when you were how old?
Oh, 30 years old, I don't know, 28, 29.
When you were very young.
It was early in my career in the financial community. Fortunately, I lost it. I didn't commit suicide. I didn't become a priest. I didn't run away. All I did, because I didn't want small, I could do was save my money and try to start over. But speaking of lessons, I remember once, probably around 1980, I sold oil short on a Friday because it was wildly overpriced. That Friday, that weekend, Iran and Iraq went to war. Needless to say, the price of oil skyrocketed, and I got, hurt, lost money.
Right. You know, if you're only making one investment, then you are dead. But usually, how many investment ideas do you execute?
It could be 2 or it could be 22. It
Depends
on
on
what's
the-
happening in the world.
I see.
There's no answer.
Right.
I don't have a limit.
Right. Your history in the past, how many situations did you have? Biggest?
Oh, the biggest?
20?
30, 40?
Yeah.
You know, it's a big world. And if you decide to invest in oil, there are many ways to invest in oil, not just one.
Right.
You usually would buy many plays
Yeah.
on oil in different countries, different industries. You can buy oil or drillers or transport. There are ways to,
Right. So you love oil, for example. You are all in.
usually, yes, because I don't know any better. I'm too dumb. If I know that oil is good investment, I try to find the other ways.
Related.
Yes, because some of them will be even better than just buying oil.
And that investment idea, how long do you usually invest?
I try to buy things that I will own for a long time.
Long time.
Because I'm lazy.
Right. What is a long term?
Oh, long term, all your life. You know, I would love the best investment is something that you never have to sell, that your children will have. There are not many of those, there are none. But something usually, if I can find, well, China. I've owned China. I've never sold any of my Chinese shares. I expect that my children will have my Chinese shares someday. I hope that my girls someday say, "We must have been smart. Look at all these Chinese shares.
My
We're
grandfather was a
Yeah.
smart man.
We're rich. Who knew?" You know, I hope. But even if that happens, you still have to find the right companies, because not every company lasts forever, never has. So it's not easy. I wish it were easy. It would be wonderful if it were easy.
Well, if it's so easy, we shouldn't be having this interview.
You know, we wouldn't need to. Everybody would be rich. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we could all be rich?
2 questions. What is your thinking about the direction of yen?
It's not easy, is it?
No.
I wish it were easy getting rich. Oh my gosh, I wish this were easy. This is not an easy way to make money. People see a success story on the TV and say, I could do that. I could have bought Apple. I would be rich too. If they could have, they didn't. Why didn't they? So none of this is easy. So if that emphasis, I want to emphasize to everybody, this is not an easy way to make money. And it's certainly not an easy way to get rich.
I'm sorry, so what is this you're talking about?
Investing.
Investing is not easy.
Investing, period. Because there are things like, currencies. I hadn't thought about currencies. Oh my gosh. Oh, other countries? Oh, I didn't think about that. Blah, blah, blah. So the point I'm trying to make is there's a lot of stuff that goes into any investment decision. Not just do I buy X, blah. You got to worry about currencies, debt, politics, everything. So it's not easy. But back to this. Yes, we have to worry about currencies when we make an investment, whether we're Japanese or American. People might say, oh, well, it's US dollars, you don't have to worry. Ha! In many periods when the dollar has gone up, down, could have lost a lot of money. In currencies, no matter what the currency, at various times in history. So I want to emphasize, this is not easy. You have to think of many, many, many things. And if I were a Japanese citizen, I repeat, I would stay with what I know, but then you would have to know about the yen. There were many periods when the yen was, you didn't have to think too much. You had to think about it, but you didn't have to worry too much about big fluctuations. Every country has big fluctuations at times in its history, so you must consider that. This is not an easy way to make money, I repeat. So if I were a Japanese citizen now, I told you there's a good chance that the Japanese stock market will go back to its old highs, partly because the yen is weak.
Right.
Now, that's not good for you and me, but it's good for the markets at times. So, but you have to consider all this, and if the yen is going to decline, it will make some stocks strong, but you have to consider what happens to the value of your money.
Outside of Japan.
Well, outside, but if the yen goes down outside of Japan, it goes down in Japan too. If the yen goes down, the price of wheat goes up, the price of copper goes up, the price of a lot of things change, and that hurts you. And the price of your unagi is going to go up. The price of your rice is going to go up.
Starting next year in Japan, we're going to have a new NISA, which stands for Nippon Individual Saving Account. It's an enhanced program Japan has copied from UK to encourage Japanese individuals to move money out of banking system or from the under the mattress into the stock market. Can you please give us some advice to individual investors who is considering to make an investment for the first time in their life?
Don't do it until you know what you're doing. If you don't know what the difference in a stock and a bond, educate yourself. Please. This is not an easy way to make money. So educate yourself first. Learn as much as you can. And then once you start investing, stay with what you know. Everybody knows something about something. I don't know what, but there's something that we all go on the internet every day and we know about. Whatever, sports, whatever it is. Please stay with what you know. Do not listen to other people. Do not listen to me. Just stay with what you know, and that's how you will be successful. People don't want to hear that. They say, that's boring. Be boring. If you want to be rich, be boring. I cannot emphasize enough, stay with what you know.
Should amateur investor, should they trade short-term or should they make long-term investment?
Well, it depends on what you're good at. If you're a good short-term trader, and I'm not, but I've known some people who were fantastic short-term traders. You know, if they owned a share for a week, it was too long. I am not good at short-term trading, but everybody has to find that out for themselves. I did not know that when I went into the stock market. So one needs to learn whether you're good at short-term trading, and if you are, please do it. You'll get very rich if you're good at it. I am not, so I like to find things that I can own for many months, years, lifetimes if I can. Everybody has to find their own way. I told you before that I once lost everything. I was so brilliant I lost everything because I didn't know much about short-term trading, about how markets worked. I just didn't know about the madness of crowds. I learned, but it's one of those things I had to learn because I didn't know.
Fundamentals are very important.
Yeah, that's what I learned. I had the fundamentals perfect. What I didn't know enough about was short-term investor sentiment.
What are the most important disciplines in investing?
The most
Important disciplines.
Patience. No,
Patient.
You must know accounting. Now, if you're a short-term trader, you don't have to know much of anything. If you want to be a good investor, I would urge you to learn about the numbers. You don't have to become an accountant, but you have to learn how the numbers work. You have to know about assets. You have to know about the liabilities. You have to know about sales, profits. You have to know the basic numbers and how they work. You have to know about a competition. You have to know what other people are doing. You have to know about governments, because if a government takes an action, it's going to make somebody rich. It may be the wrong action, it doesn't matter. Somebody's going to get rich if a government spends a lot of money on something. So you need to pay attention to governments, and you need to figure out change. If you can figure out change, whether it's good change or bad change, you will probably make a lot of money. You just have to be attentive, and you have to know if it's a long-term change. If it's just a short-term thing, like today we're going to eat unagi and tomorrow we're going to eat hamburgers, that's not important. But if it's a major change, That's very important. And if you can figure out major changes, and it's not easy, but if you can, you'll be very successful.
About your life, lesson from your life for our audience. What was the hardest moment in your life and your experience, and then lesson for audience?
Well, I've had many. I lost everything once. I told you.
You lost everything?
Well, I made a fortune. I made a lot of money. Not a fortune. I tripled my money when everybody else was collapsing. Mm-hmm. So I sold short, and then I lost everything. I lost everything. But I literally had nothing left. I thought I was going to have to sell my motorcycle. Mm. It was that bad in the stock market, and they were all wrong. Yes, my fundamental analysis was perfect, but I didn't know about the madness of crowds, and the stocks all went up a lot. I had sold them short. They went up a lot, and there was nothing I could do because I had sold short. Yeah, those companies eventually went bankrupt, but so what? I lost everything first. Everything first. It was not happy. I was very sad, confused, perplexed, because I was consumed and still was by the markets, by investing. And here all of a sudden I had gone from a great triumph to a complete disaster. That was not good. Thank goodness. At the time it was a failure. Tragedy. Looking back on it, it's one of the best things that ever happened to me. That's another thing you can learn, that the Japanese word kiki, remember, disaster can also be opportunity. Disaster and can be good, lead to good things, which I didn't know. I didn't know much about in those days.
So you're saying think positive. You're saying think positive.
Yes, but it's not so easy, especially when you're young and inexperienced, to suddenly have a major disaster to say, oh, this is wonderful. This is great. It's not the way people think, especially young people, inexperienced people. I can remember once I was held, when I was going around the world, I was held hostage in the Congo for 10 days by the police. Police held me hostage. Well, that was not fun. That was anxiety provoking. Mm-hmm. You know, I was in the middle of the Congo. It was the police. It wasn't as though I could go to the police and say, help. The police were holding me hostage. So that was anxiety provoking. Oh, I've had some difficult times in my life, but I'm still here, still alive.
I'm very happy now.
As far as I know, I'm extremely happy, yes. And no matter what you think today, no matter what you know today, is going to be wrong in 15 years. No matter what it is, about yourself, about the world, about life, about investing. It's a very important lesson to understand that everything is going to change, for the better or for the worst. And if you can figure out how it's going to change, you will be very successful.
Lastly, you have given us all the advices, but for the benefit of the viewers in Japan, your fan of yours, can you please give us a last message? Any message?
The most important message is, whether you're young or old, is to figure out what you love, you yourself love, and pursue it. If you're a young person, we'll go back to young person, and you love gardening, you just love planting things and gardening, then you should become a gardener. Now, your parents are going to say, what? We didn't educate you to become a gardener. And your teachers are going to say, you went to this fantastic school and now you become a gardener? And your friends are going to laugh, say, she's a gardener. But you will never go to work. You'll get up every day and have fun. You'll just have fun every day. Even if things are bad, you will know what to do. And someday, you will have a chain of garden shops all over Asia. And you'll be listed on the New York Stock Exchange. And your parents will call you and say, We knew. Remember we gave you seeds when you were small? And your teachers will say, we always encouraged you to be a gardener. And your friends will call you and say, you're very rich. We need a job. You'll be very successful, very happy, and you'll never work a day in your life because you'll just have so much fun. Even the bad days will be good. It's very hard for most people. I did not know what I wanted to do with my life. Everything I thought was wrong, everything when I was 18 or 21, everything I thought was wrong. I learned, fortunately, I learned by accident. So if you can figure out what you love, that's all you need to know about life. You'll never be unhappy. You'll have every day will be a good day. Because you'll be doing what you love, what makes you happy. Especially if other people laugh at you. If other people say, oh, you fool, then you're really doing the right thing. So it's that simple. It's that hard. It's that hard for most of us. I say everything I thought when I was 21 years old was wrong about myself and about the world. Love affair that went wrong. I didn't know anything. I thought I was devastated. I thought it was a disaster and a tragedy. And now I know, thank goodness. Kiki.
Well, thank you so much, Jim.
My pleasure. It's been
Speaking with
my
you.
honor. It's been my pleasure. Yes.